Wow, look at that. Handsome. All right, guys. I might be dating myself here, but in high school, we had a website called FormSpring. Is anyone familiar with FormSpring? Just a show of hands. Wow, I am old. That checks out. Okay, well, for those of you who are unfamiliar with FormSpring, it was a website where you could ask people questions anonymously. And it was the perfect vessel for teenage drama. Okay? Everything you loved and hated about high school wrapped up in one aesthetically pleasing yet highly problematic website. Now, contrary to popular belief, in high school, I wasn't quite the Prince Charming that stands before you right now. Oof. I had the spirit and body weight of a small child, all right? I was that kid. One that was way too passionate about the morning announcements and student council. Sexy? Hardly. But one fateful day on FormSpring, I decided to ask one of the prettiest girls in my grade who she thought the top 10 cutest boys were. And to my surprise, I had found my way on her list, sliding in at a solid 10th place. Dreams do come true. Now, that moment, as insignificant as it seems, was a pretty big deal for me. It made me feel like I belonged to the rat race that was high school. It gave me confidence. And from there, I was able to lock down a steady girlfriend for the remaining time in high school. The ultimate achievement for any teenage boy. What I received that day was my first cosign. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, his ultimate achievement was to get a girlfriend in high school, and that's valid, okay? But more importantly, I hope you're asking yourself, what is a cosign? Well, it's what Michael Jordan was to Nike, Ashton Kutcher to Twitter, Usher to Justin Bieber. It's the Instagram verification badge. It's that lunch you had with your dad's colleague that led to a job. Nepo babies. It's a LinkedIn endorsement or your TikTok dance going viral. These are all cosigns, strategic endorsements that amplify visibility and credibility. Now, funny enough, the term cosign actually originates in finance, where a cosigner would assume another person's loan. But in recent years, it's been adopted by hip-hop culture to describe when someone backs another person's hustle or talent. A cosign, simply put, is when someone or something with credibility lends you theirs. It's an endorsement, a stamp of approval, and it's been a game changer for centuries. Now, why does this matter? Well, because in many careers, recognition is hard to achieve. Talent and hard work are often not enough. But a well-placed cosign can be your shortcut from obscurity to opportunity. Now, I'm not saying that you should skip the hard work. No, success still requires dedication. What I am saying is that strategic thinking can help unlock doors that would otherwise take years to open. Let me share an example. My friend Arden is an incredible dancer, video editor, and entrepreneur. And in 2022, he decided to make a dance video tribute to one of his idols, Janet Jackson. But he didn't just post the video online. No, he did his research, okay? He found out who her management team was, tagged them in the post, and sure enough, a few days later, Janet Jackson had shared the video on her socials. Now, from the majority of people, I feel like the story would have ended there. Not Arden. He took the cosign as an opportunity to pitch his story to media outlets, landing him a nationwide press tour and cementing himself as a rising star. He didn't wait for lightning to strike twice. He took one win and leveraged it into many. That's the power of a cosign. Now, as I'm sure the majority of you guys already know, over 85% of career opportunities are fueled by networking and referrals, not applications. But I don't want you to think of this as networking, okay? Because networking's got a stigma to it. Networking implies, awkward icebreakers with coworkers or grabbing a coffee. But let's dream bigger, okay? Let's aim for people, brands, programs, and opportunities that have the power to elevate your career faster. It's 2025. Networking's out. Cosigns are in, baby. And the key to landing cosigns isn't about asking for help. No, it's about offering value in return. What can you bring to the table? Might be your energy, your youth, or your ability to lighten someone else's load. It's a mutual exchange, okay? A quid pro quo. Now, often I'll think about that random stint in the media where Taylor Swift and Ice Spice were inseparable. Do you guys remember that? At the time, I couldn't help but be like, this duo's a little random, right? But on paper, it made sense. Ice Spice, who was new to the industry at the time, obviously gained credibility and access to millions of fans by collaborating with Taylor Swift. But Taylor gained something too. She gained validation as a supporter of women, access to a younger demographic, and credibility in a genre that might have otherwise dismissed her. It's a two-way street, and there's no reason as to why you, a young, emerging professional, can't foster similar relationships. Now, I'm aware that rare endorsements, like a shout-out from Drake on a live stream or being cast on a reality television show, are hard to come by. But micro cosigns, those are everywhere, and there's no reason as to why you can't stack a series of small wins that'll lead into big opportunities. When I started at BlogTO in 2021, I used to always joke around and say, no one cared who I was until I put on the BlogTO mask, okay? Which is a very niche Bane reference from Batman. This movie does not hold up, unfortunately. But there was some truth to what I was saying. By working at a recognized publication, it gave my creative work legitimacy instantly. I had the opportunity to collaborate with artists that were more successful than I by offering coverage while showcasing my skills. So, how can you apply this to your own life? Well, start small. Think of ways in which you can bring legitimacy to your craft, even if it feels microscopic at first. Conspire on new ways in which you can flip one opportunity into the next. And remember, success isn't linear. It often requires taking calculated risks. Let's break it down into everyday moments, okay? Let's say you're in a group project, and you've decided that you're gonna take the lead on presenting because, well, you got some great energy, and you feel like you can bring some clarity to the material. But let's be honest, public speaking can be nerve-wracking, trust me. But by doing so, you're one step closer to gaining connections, demonstrating leadership, and showing a dedication to your craft, which in itself is a stamp of legitimacy. Ask yourself, what small actions can I take today that'll move me closer to my goals? Now, when I went to TMU, it was some time ago, I had got placed on an internship for NBC, okay? And I was put on one of their last seasons of their series, Suits. Now, my responsibilities at Suits were pretty lackluster, okay? I basically just stuffed my face at the craft services table and tried to flirt with Meghan Markle, to no avail, I should add. But on my resume, it was looking pretty good, okay? It had said that I had worked at one of the biggest broadcasters in the world, and in some small way had contributed to one of their most successful programs at the time. And I was able to take that opportunity and flip it into an internship at a production company in Los Angeles the following year. And to this day, I still reference my time in Los Angeles because it gives my creative work legitimacy. All this being said is that the cosign doesn't always look like your name being announced in lights. Sometimes it's the subtle nod of approval that helps unlock the next opportunity. Remember, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, but the right cosigns can make all the difference. From that high school form spring moment, I learned that a simple, yes, I see you, can be the boost that we all need. Similar to how I'm sure the majority of you guys feel right now, or when I was in university, I had endless doubts about my career. I would ask myself questions like, what will my future hold? Will I land my dream job? Have I made the right choices? But instead of posing those questions, I suggest asking why. Why do you want that career, and why does it matter? Your career should reflect deliberate choices and bold actions that are shaped by your pursuit for a purpose-driven future. The irony of it all is that this very TED Talk that I'm giving you right now is a cosign for my future career path. In just a few moments, I'll be able to say, I actually gave a TED Talk once. Yeah, it was on cosigns. Yeah. That will give my creative work legitimacy. At the end of the day, we all need cosigns. And I hope that you're ready here today to give yourself and others the cosigns that will take you further. Success isn't about waiting for that big break. It's about making those short breaks for yourself, one cosign at a time. The question is, are you ready to take that first step? And as always, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.